In 1928, Walt Disney lost everything. His most successful character, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, was stolen by his business partner through a legal loophole. His animation studio was bankrupt. His employees had abandoned him for higher-paying jobs with competitors. At 36 years old, Disney was riding a train back to California with nothing but a failed business and a new character he had sketched during the journey, a mouse named Mickey. 50 years later, that mouse had become the foundation of a $200 billion entertainment empire, spanning movies, television, theme parks, merchandise, and media networks across 6 continents. But here's what's remarkable about Walt Disney's approach. His success wasn't built on superior animation techniques, breakthrough technology, or even creative genius. Disney succeeded by systematizing something that everyone believed couldn't be systematized, the creation of emotional experiences. While his competitors focused on making cartoons, Disney built systems for manufacturing magic. While others created individual products, Disney created repeatable processes for generating emotional connections with audiences. While the entertainment industry operated on unpredictable creative inspiration, Disney established systematic methods for delivering consistent wonder. The first principle that defined how Walt Disney worked was what he called emotional architecture. This wasn't about designing stories or characters. It was about engineering specific emotional responses in audiences through carefully structured experiences that could be replicated across different mediums and markets. Disney understood something that most creative professionals missed. Emotions follow predictable patterns. Joy, fear, surprise, and wonder could be triggered systematically if you understood the precise sequence of events that generated these feelings in human psychology. Instead of hoping audiences would connect with his content, Disney built that connection into the fundamental structure of everything he created. When Disney developed Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, he didn't just write a fairy tale adaptation. He created what he called an emotional blueprint, a systematic framework that took audiences through carefully orchestrated psychological states designed to maximize emotional investment. Every scene was engineered to build specific feelings that would intensify the impact of subsequent scenes. Disney's emotional architecture extended beyond individual stories to encompass entire viewing experiences. He controlled lighting, sound, pacing, and even the physical environment where people encountered his content. When audiences watched a Disney movie, they weren't just consuming entertainment, they were being guided through a systematically designed emotional journey. This systematic approach to emotion creation became Disney's most valuable competitive advantage. While other studios produced content that audiences might enjoy, Disney created content that audiences couldn't forget because it was engineered to trigger deep emotional responses that formed lasting memories. The second principle was what Disney called immersive systematization. This was the idea that truly powerful experiences required controlling every element that audiences encountered. From the initial moment of engagement through the final lasting impression, most entertainment companies in Disney's era focused exclusively on their core product, the movie, the radio show, or the comic strip. Disney realized that the most impactful experiences extended far beyond the primary content to include every touchpoint where audiences interacted with his brand. When Disney created Mickey Mouse, he didn't just develop an animated character. He systematized Mickey's entire universe. The character's personality traits, the visual design principles, the story themes, the merchandising opportunities, and even the behavioral guidelines for how Mickey should be portrayed across different contexts. This immersive systematization meant that whether someone encountered Mickey Mouse in a cartoon, a comic book, a toy store, or eventually at Disneyland, they experienced consistent emotional and visual elements that reinforced their connection to the character and the broader Disney brand. Disney's most ambitious implementation of immersive systematization was Disneyland itself. While most amusement parks were collections of unrelated rides and attractions, Disney designed Disneyland as a systematically integrated experience where every element from the entrance gates to the landscaping to the employee interactions was engineered to support a single immersive fantasy. Disneyland wasn't just an amusement park. It was a systematic demonstration of Disney's belief that experiences could be designed, tested, and refined like any other manufactured product. Every pathway, every building, every employee interaction was optimized to create specific emotional states that would maximize visitors' sense of wonder and engagement. The third principle was systematic storytelling. Disney understood that compelling narratives followed identifiable patterns, and he developed systematic methods for creating stories that would resonate with audiences across different cultures and generations. Disney's systematic storytelling wasn't about using formulas to generate content. It was about understanding the fundamental psychological and emotional elements that made stories universally compelling, then building systematic processes to incorporate these elements into every project. Disney identified that the most powerful stories followed what he called universal emotional arcs, narrative patterns that triggered the project same psychological responses regardless of the specific characters, settings, or cultural contexts. Hope, loss, struggle, and triumph created predictable emotional journeys that audiences found deeply satisfying across different storytelling mediums. But Disney's systematic storytelling extended beyond narrative structure to encompass the entire creative development process. He established systematic methods for character development, world building, conflict creation, and resolution that could be applied consistently across movies, television shows, theme park attractions, and merchandising products. This systematic approach to storytelling allowed Disney to maintain consistent quality and emotional impact, even as his company grew from a small animation studio to a global entertainment empire. New creators could learn Disney's systematic storytelling methods and produce content that maintained the emotional effectiveness that audiences expected from the Disney brand. Here's what's most instructive about how Walt Disney worked. He didn't just create entertainment. He industrialized the creation of emotional experiences in ways that could be systematically replicated and scaled across multiple platforms and markets. Disney's emotional architecture became the foundation for modern experience design. His immersive systematization established the principles that successful brands use to create consistent customer experiences. His systematic storytelling methods influenced not just entertainment companies, but any organization that needs to create compelling narratives around their products or services. Modern companies that dominate the experience economy, Apple, Netflix, Amazon, Starbucks all follow Disney's basic approach. They systematize the creation of emotional connections with customers rather than leaving these connections to chance. Disney worked by engineering emotions systematically, controlling experiences comprehensively, and developing stories through replicable processes. He understood that the most powerful business advantage wasn't creating great products occasionally, it was building systems that created great experiences consistently. In today's attention economy, where customer experience determines competitive advantage, Walt Disney's systematic approach to emotion and experience design remains the most reliable method for building lasting connections with audiences at scale.